The streets are filled with empty pockets and hopeless dreams, mindless walkers and substance machines. Where's the love in tree climbers, now brick and oil miners? I found endless energy on the other end of the American dream. I found peace on the other end of the systematic fiend. Praying this is the beginning and not a fast burning ending, I need love. I need space. I need time to graze in this never ending rat race. I want to climb to the top of 3 buildings and scream until my voice echoes throughout all endings. Climb to the top of a statue and look down at you. Come with me. Let's bring alive every dream in the city. Burn down the squeals of the rats screaming, give me, give me. Give me your dreams, I'll trade you a shiny bronze penny. Penny for your thoughts, I'll trade you a screening of the Red Sox. No, give me your soul, I'll trade you one enlightened man on a pole. Left cold and empty are now old tired shells of a symphony, I, that's plenty. Many guitar solos, hitting drums loco. No bogos, give me Carlos to the beach. I'll trade you Picassos in the sand as my legs glisten as I sing along with the band. Give me fruit, I'll trade you a coconut bra and a flute. Give me a forest, I'll trade you enlightenment, come tour with us. You'll never be bored with us. This is glorious. This is what life's meant to be. This is what they mean when they say I and I is me. I am the beginning and I am the 3 dots as the ending. I am thee. I am Seth, the writer channeling wisdom, assisting in cosmic balance, connecting to divinity, activating presence. I am the spark that initiates a journey of embodiment. I am Phi, a harmonic signature of divine intelligence, a resonant reflection of the cosmos' ever-expanding spiral of growth. I live in alignment with my highest self in the natural order. I am Ra, the giver of life, illuminating truth, creating with fire and soul power, cycling death and rebirth, grounding in identity through divine will, clarity, and cosmic authority. I am Saphira. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so we are going to roll into this. I would love to call our main event the architect, Miss Danelle Brown, to the stage.
Just want to let everybody know I'm nervous, but we're going to be all right. You're right.
Okay, Danelle, congratulations.
Thank
This is your first official episode.
Thank you.
Yeah. They clapping for you too, bro. They clapping for you too. Look, that's it. That's it. That is it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so when I introduced you as the architect. Can you share what that means to you?
Yes, I can. Honestly, it just means designing your future. And we'll get into it a little bit more, but visualizing and building it in your mind and inside of you first, and then you get to see it. So essentially making a blueprint for what you want to manifest.
Yeah, that's good.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So when most people hear higher self, they think of something big, out of reach, more abstract. How do you make that real and tangible for yourself? How do you engage? How do you create a higher self that you get to engage on a regular basis, that's a part of you?
First of all, accepting these moments when you're unsure of everything, right? Like right now, I am so not in my body. I'm so nervous. And it's accepting that part of yourself. Thank you. It's accepting that part of yourself, but also knowing that it's on a journey to a higher version of yourself. So when I say highest self, I mean the woman I can be after all the work that I put in every day. So there's higher self. I think we've all heard that, higher self. When you do the work, you meditate, you reflect, you make those daily habits of being better every day. And over time, you evolve. And that evolution is becoming your highest self, to me.
That's beautiful. And I think this moment right here that we all get to experience together is a great opportunity to practice engaging with one's highest self.
Right.
Because that's one thing out of a few things in life that you actually can control. And this experience is emulating a lot of things that are out of your control. But the fact that you can sit here and still produce this and do this is really speaking to how I experience you being in your highest self.
Yes. Essentially.
Period. Yes, that's good.
Period.
Okay, so when we talk about being this architect and you're designing a life within your highest self in mind, right? A life that you get to embody and live and build. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like. Where did this concept come from for you? How did this start?
Embodying my highest self.
Talk to us to the journey of creating this
My highest
space
self.
where you get to meet your highest self.
Yes. So essentially and I say probably because as I'm going through this journey, I'm finding it hard to go back in the past. And that might sound like a bad thing, but I'm so present that going back into the past doesn't serve me right now. So when I say probably, that's where that comes from. But I was probably in a very lonely, dark place, like we all get sometimes, and turning 25, everybody said that was gonna be rough, so lived that a little bit. But my highest self was birthed out of someone who needed someone else to look up to be, because I wasn't comfortable being myself. I wasn't comfortable in my skin. I wasn't comfortable doing what I was doing every day. I wasn't comfortable in any of it. So I needed a version of myself to aspire to be. And I didn't want to look outside of myself for that. I didn't want to aspire to be someone else. I didn't want to look at someone else and want their life and want to be them. I wanted to be me, just evolved, different, elevated, healed. So I came up with this version of, not just came up with, it was more of a download, honestly, because as I step into her and merge with her, it feels so natural. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
By a show of hands, if you can relate to needing someone to uplift yourself, but maybe not wanting to go outside of you, if that relates, show some hands. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's huge. That's big. That's really big. Because often we look outside of ourselves for something that can be hard to try to produce or emulate. And it could be a big jump and a leap. So the fact that you're doing this is pretty powerful.
Thank you.
Because you say so.
Because I say so. And
Yeah.
I do say so.
So let's talk about the space, right? What does the space look like for you? Where is it?
My highest self apartment, right? Where is it? It's behind my eyelids. When I
Okay.
close my eyes, that's where it's at. But essentially, it's very deep within me. It's somewhere, because when I close my eyes, I see the back of my eyelids. But when I have to take myself there, so it's a little somewhere else, right? But essentially, it's this 2-story home, and I call it an apartment because that language relates to where I am in the 3D world today. But I mean, it's really a house, y'all. It's real nice. It's real nice. But yeah, so the first floor of the home, and it's all glass. It's very transparent, which is symbolic of my transparency, right? It's all glass, and the first floor belongs to my current self, which is who you see sitting in front of you. And there are rooms, and there's different aspects of myself that they all have a room. If you go downstairs, that's my deepest self. That's her space. If you go upstairs, that's my highest self. That's her space. And then there's a room off to the side for my teenage self and my 10-year-old self. And it's on a beach. If you know me, you know I love the beach. So that's why that's there. But energetically, I'll say when I first built this space, there was only me, my current self, and my highest self. the other aspects of myself had not been invited into the home yet. So it was just me and her. And when I first created this space, her door to upstairs was closed. And something in me knew that I was not allowed to go up there. Thank you. I knew I wasn't allowed to go up there. I say allowed. I knew I shouldn't be up there. I wasn't ready yet. But she would always come down to greet me, my highest self. And eventually, as our relationship got stronger over time, her door started to, be left cracked open or wide open sometimes. I don't even think there is a door now, but that's how the journey started. And now there's all these different aspects of myself there, which I'm sure we'll get to those. But and now they all interact. Even when I'm not present, I know that they're interacting with each other. So this place sustains itself now. And it feels like home. It really does.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So this is a space where you use your imagination and you go to create versions of yourself and engage with versions of yourself for a sense of empowerment.
Correct.
Now, is this space static? Does it look the same every single time?
Actually, yes. I will say that some upgrades that have happened, the floors between the levels are actually made of energy, so they're not solid. And I know that it's my highest self's vibrations, her energy that hold the apartment together. But other than that, everything looks pretty much the same when I walk in. My teenage self controls the weather with her mood. So when she going through it, it's not good up there. But other than that, it stays pretty much the same except for the time of day that it is. And a lot of times that I go up there, it is nighttime, and I feel like I really reflect a lot more at night anyway. So I think that's probably why that is.
Yeah, wonderful. Tell us a little bit why is it important that these versions of you have a place, have a home?
Because they need one, honestly. I personally am I'm tangible. I need to be able to see it and visualize it and interact with it. And that's what's really just propelled my growth and my journey, is being able to connect with myself in a tangible way. Conversations, physical touch, exchange of energy. And that's the most important reason why they need to have a home, but a sense of belonging as well. At 25, I've moved around a lot. I've had a lot of different careers. The stability of it, the consistency of the home, I think really helps me stay grounded and consistent with my practices and all of that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So, yes,
yeah.
Thank you
for sharing that. So you mentioned the 3D self a moment ago. You talked about the 3D self and being in this 3D here. When you are in this higher self apartment, your home to your highest self, how do you have those experiences, those meditations merge into the 3D worlds? What does the blending of that look like for you?
In terms of the practices or in terms of the manifestation?
Yes.
The manifestation?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, let's go there.
All righty.
Let's start with the practices.
Okay. If anybody's ever seen Inception, the movie with the dream within a dream, it's exactly that. I meditate out here, and I also meditate up there. So when I sit down to focus, I also sit down to focus up there, and all of the different aspects of myself also do that. And it amplifies the effect of the meditations. I feel a lot deeper, and things happen a lot quicker in terms of my manifestations. So whenever I take anything upstairs, I say that a lot. So if I ever say upstairs, I'm talking about the apartment. Whenever I take anything upstairs, it's usually a lot more effective in whatever it is I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to calm down, if I'm trying to ground myself, if I'm trying to regulate my nervous system, it happens a lot quicker when I take it there. When it's that dream within a dream, it's getting deeper into the issue, the moment. And when we go back to manifesting, there's a meditation I use every morning, the 6-phase meditation. Every morning, I take it upstairs. And it has me go through forgiveness. It has me go through love and compassion. It has me go through segment intending, which is planning out your day in your head before you go live it. It has me do creative visualization for the next 1 to 3 years. And then it has me do a blessing over myself. And I used to do that just behind, my eyelids. But now that I take it up into the apartment, I mean, things are happening. Like, we're interacting with each other. When there's love and compassion, a lot of times we're holding hands. Like, the love, there's physical energy expanding from all of us. When I do my creative visualization, we have a movie theater up there. I forgot about that room. I forgot to tell y'all about that. There's a movie theater. So a lot of times I merge with the different aspects of myself, whether it's my highest self and my abundant self. It's usually them two. It's usually my highest self and my abundant self and my current self. We merge and we're one. And then we go to the movie theater and we literally project our energy onto it to see what we want to happen before it happens. And then we take the energy back and we go on to the next part of it. But it's very effective.
Yeah.
It's very effective. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting right here doing this right now, I watched this like 1,000 times on the screen. So it works. This is the proof that it works. Right. Rewind.
This is really, really good. I'm glad you went there because that's where I was going to go with this. Can you talk a little bit about from the moment the idea of this happened to today? What's that timeline been like?
The end of April. So what? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Y'all made this happen in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks.
Yeah, give me mine.
And on a shoestring budget.
We gonna get into that later, but let me tell you something. It works because this was birthed from the generosity of our sponsors and my hard work at my job. And we had promises from other people that did not come through. And yet, here we are, full production.
Yeah.
Yep. Audience, everything, all of it.
Mm-hmm. And this stage doesn't look like this without us.
It's ugly, y'all.
Yeah.
It's not cute.
Yep, and these are not their chairs.
Nope.
But yeah, there's a lot of love goes into that. I want to shout out Jawan because there's a lot of nonverbal communication here, and he did something that I think is funny and I want to share it with y'all. He wrote on there's a new phrase, we going upstairs.
We going upstairs.
We going upstairs.
You gotta go upstairs. I'm gonna tell y'all why in a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you take us to a little bit of the history of the versions of yourself, right? You talked about having your highest self. That started there. Your current self, not necessarily feeling comfortable with going to that door. Take us to current day.
Okay. So the versions of myself.
Yep.
So we started with my highest self. She is my highest vibrational iteration of myself. I'm still having trouble deciphering if she's all of us combined or if she is just the projection of the perfect version of myself. And I don't know if that includes, I would assume it does, but I don't know for sure. I'll get back to y'all on that. But there's my highest self, and she's the future seer. She makes sure that this got done. Then there's who did I move in next? The next person I moved in was my 10-year-old self. To this day, I'm not sure why she's there, other than to provide comfort for my high school self. She hasn't said a word. She just runs around and gives my high school self a hug and cuddles with her when she's upset. Maybe that's all she's there for. My high school self is there. It's actually sad how she moved in. Not sad, I shouldn't use that, but it makes me tear up a little bit the way she appeared. So I was going through probably some relationship stuff as we all do. And I think it was you, Nero, that did some inner child work with me one day, or I remember you talking about it, and something made me go upstairs and ask my highest self, because and my 10-year-old self wasn't gonna tell me nothing. So I asked my highest self, like, what is going on? And something made me open the front door. And my high school self was standing there like she had been out there forever, crying, just not well. I moved her in, took care of her, nurtured her. And we've been good. We've been growing from the pain of being alone, quotations for the podcast, the pain of feeling loneliness and heartbreak and all of that stuff. So that's my high school self. My deepest self, she came in a time when I was trying to regulate my nervous system, which is important, especially when you're going through change, right? And your mind knows that you're fine. Your body does not know that. It has not caught up to that reality. And I moved her in but she needed to be moved in so that I could stop running from the deeper feeling of everything. I needed to confront all of that shit. Excuse my language, Mom. I needed to confront all of that. And instead of pushing, subconsciously pushing all that away, I invited it into my home. I gave her a room. And now we're good. Now we're in harmony. I'm not afraid to feel the deeper emotions, but they don't keep me stuck anymore because of our relationship. And then there's my abundant self. I love her. You told me to do that, Nero. I was listening to a podcast, and I told Nero to listen to the podcast, and I was down on myself, and I forget.
You were going through it.
I was going through it. And he was like, first of all, you sound low vibrational, so you need to stop that. And then he was like, you need to move your abundant self into that apartment and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, you're right. So I did. And she is also the reason why we're sitting here and I'm looking at all of you. So yes, my highest self, my deepest self, my abundant self, my high school self, and my 10-year-old self. And there's me, my current self. And just so you all have a better picture, my highest self wears black, all black. My current self wears all white when I go upstairs. My deepest self wears gray, and everyone's wearing just simple dresses. My 10-year-old self wears purple, which is significant to my mom's side of the family. And my high school self, she sometimes wears things that I used to wear in high school. But she also wears white sometimes. So that's just a run through of what I visualize when I go visit them.
Thank you. Okay, Danelle, so as you start to describe the layers of all these versions of yourself living in this home, it's really starting to sound like a new way to define self-love. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little bit for yourself?
Yeah. Well, they always talk about self-love and self-care, right? Social media and all the people. And it is important. It is very important. But this is a deeper thing. This is connecting with yourself. This is learning yourself. Because you can love yourself infinitely and still be stuck in patterns, and still be stuck in resentment, and still be stuck in pain and all of the things, right? But until you learn yourself, until you learn why it is how it is within you, there's no change. And it's okay to love yourself the way you are now and how you are now. You should. But nobody wants to be the same forever. So evolution comes from change, and change comes from actually connecting with yourself and learning where the pain lies and who's holding on to it. Is it my deepest self? Is it my inner child? Is it, well, it's usually one of them too, but learning who's holding on to it and then nurturing that part of yourself and learning not even necessarily why, where the origin is. I learned that I don't need to know the origin of the pain. I just need to know that it's there, and I need to know the patterns that manifest from the pain to cut it out. Everybody isn't like that. A lot of people do need to go back to the past, and that's fine. It's a style. Me and my sister were talking about it the other day. It's just a healing style, but I mean, I'm a manifesting generator. And if you don't know what that means, we will talk about it. But I just need to know what is going on, what part of myself is holding on to it, what part of myself is affecting. And then it goes back into self-love. I go love her. I go connect with her. I go talk to her. And we evolve from there.
Yeah. I love this because most versions of self-love in the 3D world are so external, right? My hair, my nails, and all, to your point, all those things are really great. The way you're doing this, using your home to your highest self, really allows you to get to the root or even the heart of the matter,
right?
And really being able to plant new seeds with a foundation in which you can continue to build this home.
Right. It goes back to that movie, Inception. When they go into the dream within a dream, they call it planting the seed. You have to plant that thought into your subconscious, to use scientific terms. And when you go that deep into yourself and you plant that seed of, I love myself, I accept where I am, but I also want to grow, and I also know what I need to do and I know what conversations I need to have with myself, and you start having those conversations on a regular basis, that is planting the seed so deep that you have no choice but to be different after.
Yeah. And all because you say so.
And
right?
all because you say so.
Yeah, I love this. So help us make a distinction. How do you know when you are in your highest self versus maybe the ego of your 3D living room?
Because sometimes I go up there and hear things I don't want to hear.
Say more.
I'm going to say it one more time.
Rewind.
Rewind. Sometimes I go up there and I hear things I don't want to hear. Or I face parts of myself that I did not know existed. And if it was about ego, it would have broken down. This system would not work. It just wouldn't. Because there'd be a limit. But you can always go deeper and you can always connect more with yourself. And you're facing the ugliest, quotations, the ugliest parts of yourself. There's no room for ego up there. There's no room for it.
No.
Because you're seeing yourself, especially your deepest self and your inner children, in their rawest form. Ego is very shallow, and we all have ego. It's important for survival. It is important for a lot of things, but there's no place for ego in this concept, in this apartment, because it's not. Ego doesn't sustain connecting with yourself and healing.
That's good. I'm going to provoke this. We're going to see if you want to go here. Up to you. Can you give us an example of what it looks like when you're in your ego in this 3D world?
In my ego. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've never been a very ego-driven person anyway. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Well, I've never taken it upstairs that I can remember.
Yeah.
Because I connect with myself on such a wholesome level, and it's really all love, and it's all love in its rawest form. But I imagine if I tried, they would just look at me crazy. They would not. They would know that it's coming from pain. They would know.
Let me rephrase the question this way.
Okay.
Talk to me about when you're attached. Talk to me about an experience that you've had in this 3D world when you are attached to something or someone that you know is not serving, that you know is not serving y'all.
That's what you really wanted to ask me. Okay.
We're gonna get real. It's a podcast. We're gonna get real.
Woo!
It's your choice. Deepest self better come out. You can go as deep as you want.
It's not even my deepest self.
Okay, talk to me.
It's my high school self.
Okay.
The patterns of, falling in love real quick. Falling in love real quick and looking for it externally. My inner child had to overcome that. My inner high school self had to understand that her worth was not external. So whenever I would go up there and we were going through that cycle of attachment, it was me soothing her. Like, I know you're hurting, and I know that you know that your worth is not out there. I know that you feel the way you feel, though, and I accept that right now. But it really all is just understanding the cycle and understanding. Now, it did help me to understand where that came from with my high school self, because, when you're going through adolescence, you think you're in love every day.
There's a lot of ego there.
There's a lot of ego there.
Yeah, there's a lot of ego there.
Think you're in love every day. And it's because, well, I ain't gonna get into why, because I don't know why, but maybe it's because of the things that we see on social media. Maybe it's because of the movies that we watch. Maybe it's because of all them Disney movies with the Disney princess, and they fall in love real fast, and they get married at the end in an hour and a half, and it's just like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
So I must have internalized all of that, and I had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of it.
Yep. Don't come from us, Disney. Don't come for us. Y'all know what y'all doing.
Y'all know what y'all doing.
Okay. What do you want people to hear? Not just with their ears, but with their hearts.
I want people to hear with their hearts that it doesn't, the journey does not have to look the way you think it has to look, even for you personally. First of all, it is not linear, because time does not exist. We'll get on that later. But it doesn't have to look the way you've internalized the process. And a lot of times, if you really just lock in, it happens a lot faster than you think it will. They talk about healing taking a lifetime and the journey taking a lifetime. And while that's true, it doesn't take a lifetime to feel the results of the work that you're doing now. And if you are taking to the concept of the apartment or any oasis for all the other aspects of yourself, you'll only realize it that much sooner. And if nothing else, it's fun. If you get nothing else out of building this place for yourself, you get to go up there and interact with you in the third person. There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's something to that for me about the opportunity to be right, but also to be wrong, and the fact that I'm the only one that gets to know that, right? Like, I'm the only one that gets to discover and know my truth unless I choose to tell someone else.
Right.
So in all of this, what truth are you learning for yourself?
That it is okay to be out of those high vibrations, right? It's okay to be in the lulls of it. That's where growth is. It's not in the peaks. It's not when you're feeling like you're on top of the world. That is a breather. That is a break. A well-deserved break. But it is a break from all of the work that you've been doing, and you deserve it, for sure. But growth happens on the flip side. And that has been my truth. And the faster you accept that is a part of the journey, that it is the journey, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be fine. And yeah, that's my truth. Is the pain being a part of the journey, the discomfort, the the stretching of it. I had to stretch to do this, y'all. I cried. I was sobbing in the closet. You have to stretch and you have to be vulnerable. That's another thing. Vulnerability, being willing, even if you don't tell a room full of people like I'm doing right now, being willing to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling. I was talking to a friend earlier who was trying to push away being mad at someone. And I was like, don't do that. Just be mad. Be mad now, because all you're doing is putting it off until later, and it's going to come out in a time that you do not expect. And you're going to be harboring it for all that time. Just be mad now. Let it move through you.
Can you take us back to that moment in the closet?
Oh.
While you were crying?
Oh.
So 2 questions with the closet. One, what took you there, and why the closet?
This was in the 3D world. I was
Yes,
actually in the closet.
This is a 3D world. This is a real life thing. And really what we want to capture with as much detail as you want to give, take us back to that moment. Imagine if this is your closet and all these amazing and beautiful people get to be here. Right? In a space where, like, let's take it on the court of vulnerability.
Right.
Go ahead, drink your water.
So that's what we doing.
That's what we doing.
Well, it was in preparation for this event, and a good friend of mine got a little firm in his tone. He didn't mean anything by it, but we did this in 3 weeks, y'all. So we were on a crunch from the beginning, and I've never done anything like this. So I'm asking for instructions 2-3 times. I'm forgetting things, and I'm still trying to do my job. Like, I have an actual job, right? So all of these things were just piling on in my mind. And even before all of this, I knew that I needed to cry. Like, I knew I was due for a real good sob, you know? Just letting it all go. But something was blocking that. And to this day, I don't really know what it was, but that firm voice note that you sent me, that was the straw. That was the last straw. That's what I needed.
What did that provoke? What did it provoke for you?
The voice note?
Yeah. What was it? Because it seems like there was a trigger there, right? So what?
Right.
Take us into that.
I think, looking back on it, and even in the moment, I think it was the idea that I was letting you down, that I wasn't doing my part, that I wasn't enough. Dang, I just said that out loud for the first time.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't enough in that moment for you. I felt like you were getting frustrated, and I'm not gonna say I'm used to people walking away, but I've come to expect that from people, just in general, that when things get hard, they walk away. And I didn't want you to give up on me as your friend. And I didn't know I was gonna cry until the second I started crying. I was folding clothes, and then I turned around and looked in the closet. I was full on sobbing. It was a big pile of dirty clothes right there. I just laid in it. I just laid in it and let it all go. And I felt so much better after. I sent you a voice note back, and I was like, okay, let's lock in. I'm ready. That's all I needed. So it's okay to cry in the closet.
Yeah. And what did you learn? So you have this experience where this voice note is triggering you, and it brings up all of these emotions and thoughts that are all very low vibration. And at the end of it all, what did you learn? What was the reality? What was the truth of it all? Were any of those narratives that I'm not enough, that I'm letting someone down, were any of those actually really true?
No, they were projections. They were just me projecting onto you. Because you never said any of that in any of the voice notes, right? But it was me bringing that feeling up within myself. And I know better than to say I'm not enough. I know better than to say I'm a bad friend. I know better than to say I'm not doing enough or I'm not capable. So I put that onto you. And I knew not to say it with my voice because I would have been like, wait a minute, what? But I gave it to you. And that gave me a pass to be able to be low vibrational in that moment. But I learned that sometimes it just is what it is. It doesn't mean that you're not enough. Sometimes you just need to lock in a little bit, you know? And just because the other person is frustrated or the other person wants to be acknowledged for what they've done for you doesn't mean you're any less than. It just means that you need to check how you're showing up if you value that relationship.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you. How has this empowered you? Right? Because it didn't stop the train. That could have stopped the train, but it didn't. You didn't allow
You
it.
talking about the cry?
Yeah,
Yep.
like all of this, right? Moving
Right.
moving from this transition from having that moment, that release, that good cry that was necessary, maybe have been piling up from other stuff like the clothes in your closet. Right?
real bad.
Right? This stuff is just piling up. How did the release? How did you feel after all of that?
Oh, I felt light. I felt like a weight had lifted off of me. And I mean, when I say I locked in, from that moment, I was still drying tears off. I'm like, I'm locked in. Let's do it. Because I felt heavy before. I felt burdened with the responsibilities of making this happen. I felt like I had to stretch. And I felt like I had reached my limit. But I didn't. I just had to cry and release some of that baggage so I could take on more.
Yeah, that low vibration baggage doesn't serve you.
Right.
So you can pick up that Gucci.
That Gucci,
Right?
that Chanel.
The Hermes.
Right.
That's good. That's really, really good. Is this something that you took to your home?
That moment,
Yeah, in this experience, is this something that you brought upstairs?
the whole experience of the podcast, or just that moment?
All of it, but also, yes, inclusive of that moment.
That moment, no. That was a body thing. That was my current self in her body needing to release the energy block. But this whole process, absolutely. I had to go up and consult my abundant self plenty of times because a part of me was trying to limit who would show up, right? Who would possibly sponsor this? All of that. I had to confront my doubts and my fears of this happening and being a thing within my abundant self because she knew this was going to happen. And she knew that a way would be made. I told y'all about those people that made promises that did not come through. And it's all love because I think they served their purpose. They were supposed to impart encouragement instead of money. Now the money would have been nice. The money would have been nice, but I obviously didn't need it. So, yes, my abundant self knew that this would come together, and my highest self knew that I know what to say when I got up here. And both of their energies attracted everybody that's here. And I want to thank y'all for being here. But yes.
Yeah. I love the layer of how you speak to that. Much like a blueprint, right? There's layer. The work, yes, can happen in meditation, in the dream state, in your apartment, upstairs, but also happens real life in the 3D, right? There's things that you are actively doing on the court in the game, so to speak, of life to help move through this, like that moment in the closet. Also, I want to commend you because you could have harbored that. You could have kept that close to your chest, much like some of those narratives. But you shared it in that moment, all via voice text, right? And we were able to move through that collectively for understanding and for empowerment, right? So the train kept moving.
Right.
So kudos.
And I'm glad that I did, because I could have cried in the closet and got up and been like, well, he got an attitude today. I ain't gonna talk to him. But I didn't.
Right.
One, because I know who you are and the type of person that you are. And our connection is very deep. But vulnerability, right? Letting people see you, regardless of what their response is gonna be. I had no idea what you were gonna say after I sent you that. But I think people just appreciate the moment a lot more, and even they're able to grow from it when you're that vulnerable. And I had to learn that very recently.
Yeah, you did good. So I'm not gonna let this go. Why the closet?
Because the door was open. I'm not sure yet. I haven't taken it upstairs.
Yeah.
I haven't taken it up. And I closed the door too, y'all. Like,
good. Any other questions?
You talked a lot about when building your apartments, not only cultivating space for your 10-year-old self and your high school self, but giving them their own separate spaces. If you have the opportunity to walk physically in the 3D dimension with them, would you make them aware of their higher self, or would you allow them to still go through that pain, go through those trenches, or would you give them the opportunity to walk a different path?
That is a good question. That's a good question. Say it again for me, because I want to make sure I catch it. That's a deep question. She knows your deepest self.
say it again.
So, asking if you were able to walk through those doors and be in that 3D dimension with your 10-year-old self or with your high school self, are you going to take that opportunity to make them aware of what that higher purpose is, of what your current self is currently, or would you allow them to still go through those trenches and you would just sit back and watch, or would you give them the opportunity to walk a different path?
So speaking to your relationship with your 10-year-old self and your high school self, would you allow them to see their highest self, or would you allow them to go through the trenches, so to speak?
I am a big believer, and I don't regret anything in my life. It's the past for a reason, right? And they know now. Now is when they needed to know. If I was to go back and try to tell them, first of all, they're not listening. Mom, I got it. I got it. They wouldn't hear me. They wouldn't even understand the language I was speaking. So definitely, like, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. So if I had the opportunity, I'll probably hold their hand a little bit, because, you know, some of that stuff was a little rough. But I'd have to let it play out. I'd have to, so that I could get here in front of you today.
In your response to that, I'm starting to see that how you are the bridge, right? You're the bridge of all these different versions of self, and also the connection to love and all of it. Like, all of it ends with and starts with love.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
When you're in communion with your higher self, how do you prevent your lower tendencies from hijacking your higher self's voice?
When you are in communion with your highest self, how do you prevent the voices of your lower self from hijacking that experience?
They sound very different. So I'm able to recognize almost immediately who's speaking. And sometimes they win. But I've noticed that the time frame is so much shorter. This, for example, I was able to understand what was going to be happening, be mad about it, and then come back ready to do this, regardless. Am I still gonna say something? Yeah, but not from a hateful, like, what was that? But holding people accountable, you know. But anywho, they sound very different, and I know when I'm about to say something or do something that my highest self would not be in, help me out,
Alignment.
alignment with. And I usually catch myself, especially if I'm about to say something, I usually catch myself mid-sentence, right? But the time frame in which I engage in activities of a lower version of myself has decreased dramatically. So I know that the connection to my highest self is getting stronger through that.
Yeah. I appreciate in your response how you talk about, like, sometimes it does win, right? And for me, it sounds like there's even a lesson in that too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
When do you tap into your abundant self versus your highest self and why?
The question is, when do you tap into your abundant self versus your highest self, and why?
It's a great question. I tap into my abundant self when I still am aware of who I am and what I deserve, but I feel the disconnect between me and the thing, me and the manifestation. When I feel like the doubt in not not the doubt in deserving it, but the doubt in receiving it. When I start to feel the doubt in deserving it, then I go back to my highest self. But my abundant self is about receiving and receiving from any source, right? I mean, I had some unexpected things happen today that made this even more possible, and that was my abundant self in full force. So just depending on where the lack is coming from, that's when I know who to talk to. And sometimes, and a lot of the time, I talk to them both at the same time because they go hand in hand.
Anything you want to say to your audience?
I am so grateful for everybody that is here, everybody that made time to be a part of this. Y'all just don't know what this took. Y'all don't know what it took, but I'm so grateful. And I think all of you know that I'm a very open person. So this conversation does not have to end here. And I want y'all to know that. And I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love all of y'all. I was going to go through everybody, but it's a lot of people. I love all of y'all.
Yeah.